Last night, LSU women's basketball team season came to an abrupt end in the NCAA tournament. The Lady Tigers squared off against the Duke Blue Devils and fell by a final score of 60-52. On a positive note for Van Chancellor's squad, senior Allison Hightower ended her career reaching the 1,500-point mark and finishing as the 13th leading scorer in LSU women's basketball history. The Lady Tigers conclude their season with a 21-10 record. And for more on LSU women's basketball, we're going to bring in our basketball analyst, Seth Lewis. How you doing, Seth?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Okay, Seth, so tell us, what was the Lady Tigers' biggest problem last night?
Well, there's only one word that can describe their problem, and that's turnovers. The Lady Tigers had 22 turnovers last night against Duke. Now, this isn't something that LSU is used to, averaging a sound 12.5 turnovers a game on the year, which ranks second in the nation. But 22 is not acceptable on any night, especially when talking about an NCAA tournament game in Durham, where you are the road team that creates extra possessions for the Lady Blue Devils and allows the crowd to get into a game that maybe didn't have much to cheer about at first. Now, you have to give the ladies of Tigerland props as they battle throughout the whole game, even through their turnover problems. But not being able to finish and scoring just one field goal in the last 4 minutes is what led to LSU's eventual demise.
That's right, Seth. And so since the Lady Tigers are out of the tournament now, what's it looking like for next year for them? What are their prospects looking like?
Well, don't get me wrong. They lose their best player in Allison Hightower, who will be hard to replace. But I really believe this will be a better team next year. A lot of people forget with some of the Lady Tigers' success that they're still a very young team. They return everybody with the exception of Hightower and guard Andrea Kelly, who was hurt for the majority of the year. They went through a lot of growing pains, but this might be one of the most complete teams that LSU has had since all of their Final Four runs. They will be especially deep in the post with players like Lysandra Barrett, Courtney Jones, Taylor Turnbow, and Jasmine Nelson. Plus the leadership of a player like guard Katherine Graham, I believe, will be invaluable. If they could get a shooter to step up, which is something Coach Van Chancellor is vouching for, this could be not only one of the most dangerous teams in the SEC, but in the nation.
I totally agree with you, Seth. And so now we're going to focus back on the tournament. And I remember last week you picked UConn to win it all.
Yes.
So if someone's gonna knock them out of the running, who do you think it's going to be?
Well, let me start off by restating I find this difficult feat very hard to imagine. And if it were to happen, it might be the biggest upset in sports history. But if anybody were to do it, I would think it would have to be the Stanford Lady Cardinals. They have the most complete team in the nation outside of the Lady Huskies. They went 33-1 on the season, with their only blemish being a 12-point loss to UConn, which if you follow women's basketball, is not bad at all. For them to pull off this task, a lot of things would have to go right, though, including All-American center Jane Appel would need a career performance on both ends to neutralize the Huskies' Player of the Year, Tina Charles. But this would be a most difficult task.